What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 23 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Orion Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Akka the Wandering Wield and his new army took out one of those encounters and did pretty darn well. The eagles obliterating the enemy dragons, tearing them to shreds you say, and of course the Blade Singers doing great work in the melee, while the Treekin and Treemen held the ground and the war lines chased down everything. The Soats provided support, everything working real nice in this army. It's a little bit unfortunate that we couldn't put the dire wolves, rid of the heck they're called here, the giant wolves, into the army, but since only malevolent ancient treemen have the dark heart trait, which is just such a big buff to them with the +6 armor piercing weapon damage, even ignoring all the other buffs, plus I believe there's something else that buffs them further somewhere in here, but anyway, yeah, so we'll keep him on stress less so he can actually, you know, get some use out of that buff. Anyway, in terms of what we're trying to do this particular episode, well, trying to advance the turns, continuing to do so at least. Loren Forests, a ritual is up and running, so we will have potential imminent invasion, forest encounter battles, and the rest are coming along nicely. Gonna knock them all out before we end off the campaign. We do still have to do something with Akka as well. We can either send him down to Orion's camp, but I'm thinking that maybe we want to at least heavily damage the Cult of Pleasure here. Granted, they may provide some distraction for the High Elves and essentially not have the High Elves declare war on anybody else, but on the other hand, I really don't like them being here because we essentially have to keep an army like this army here permanently while they're around. So, oh, you know what else we could do? Ice Rock Gorge. We don't really need it. It has a waystone in it. And we could trade it to Mazda Mundi for... We could do trade agreement and defensive alliance, or... Well, let's do trade agreement and defensive alliance. Well, the military alliance would provide us more allegiance. The only thing I'm worried about is them declaring war suddenly on, like, Alberic or somebody. We're already at war with some of the other human factions down there, though. And Mazda does have more lizard units. Fine, okay. Ice Rock Gorge, we'll do military alliance. We'll probably get the trade agreement at some point anyway. And as soon as we get some more... Oh, and he's willing to give us 3.3k gold? Yeah, sure, we'll take it. That was Ice Rock Gorge, yes. And we do want... Oh, and now it's a -1 out of -3. We could just pay him some of the money he gave us back and then get this immediately. And then that'll be another 400 gold per turn. And we'll continue increasing. Plus, we got all this vision out here. Now, how does he feel about these guys? Not super fond of them, admittedly. We may want to declare war on the New World colonies just to reduce our upkeep a little bit further. A little bit concerned about them sailing towards us and ignoring everything else, but they are at war with the Cult of Pleasure, so they might not. How do the other lizards feel about them? Well, looks like Sotek and... I don't really care. Declare war. Don't call your allies to help. We can always peace out with them if needed to later. Plus, they really hate us already. And just out of curiosity, Mazda, you don't care about it. I don't see anything but the New World colonies in here. So he doesn't seem to care about it one way or the other. Oh! They're condemning the war with the Jade Court now? They like each other? It's kind of surprising. They don't like each other all that much, but they have a trade agreement going. The problem is the Jade Court is currently at war with the Cult of Sotek, and... Yeah, well, it's just going to be a balancing act. We want to be friendly with all the lizards, if possible. Oh, also, speaking of the lizards, we now have these two available to us, the Basties, and we want to transfer them down to... Well, probably first Dataen's army, because it really needs a little bit... there's a little bit of something extra. And just to continue that healing, so replace these two Eternal Guard, for example. In that light, we need to borrow a unit. We have a limited amount of Wild Hunt remaining to teleport with. I guess we could use Dalsyn for this purpose. Oh yeah, you have the Refined Dreaming Bow, still gotta remember to swap that out. So I'm on the fence as to putting the Sisters of Athel Loren in that particular army that we were originally going to put them in, but I'll get to that later. Let us move you. What's the best way to do this? I mean, you don't really need to be at the Guy Vale anyway. Alright, fine. Go to the Haunted Forest, like so. Then grab these two. Ignore the Great Stagnites because, well, they need time to recruit. Then we're going to send you, I guess to the Oak of Ages. Yeah, probably the closest thing. Probably should have used somebody with more movement range available to them, but all good. We'll go from here to Kingsglade, or even to the edge of Kingsglade, like so, and then we'll jump over the mountains and meet up here at Miragliano, since we're probably gonna attack these guys. I mean, granted, our dwarven now friends, despite the fact that we essentially destroy them, won't like it, but these guys are kind of in the way, and if Miragliano does indeed offer us a super outpost, we may as well take it. I hope that is the case, as it would otherwise be a waste. But oh well, we'll see. Anyway, who needs to move this turn? I believe Draika wanted a fight. And is that the only one? Let's double check, go through everything. Zoltathios is here. Azerid is waiting in case the Dark Elves come around. Zoltathios can't move. Oh, I could have sent Zoltathios out as a fairy, but whatever. Trelon. Fine, Circo, Akka. This is the other Akka. I still have to guard that Shrine of Cain until that other army gets here to guard it instead. And Draika. Oh, actually. We should be able to do that next turn, but anyway. Draika is fine. Stresslaith will need an army of his own, and we will build it, but we need a little bit more in the way of money to actually continue recruiting. And Draika, you are going to strike here at Selig van Kruger, and try to take Castle Drakenhof, which I imagine will also be a super outpost. Pyrrhic victory, medium casualties, I sincerely doubt that. The only real threat here are the Vampire and the Vargov. Well, the Graveguard can trade blows with the Dryads fairly decently, at least until our branch rates level up to level 15, or was it 12, I don't remember, and then power up the Dryads considerably. Obviously, the Dryads are still relatively weak for now, but once all the Dryads have their levels, they're going to get insanely strong, so just gotta try to get towards it. Go. Alright, here we go again. Draika, of course, too angry to just sit back and wait for the enemy to come to us, so she's going to head directly to the enemy. And fortunately, Draika has the ability to summon Dryads onto the field, and eventually I believe we get an infinite range variant of this once she has enough levels. Anyway, she's going to book it right on through those summoned Dryads and the enemies and head directly towards the enemy Necromancer, smacking him pretty darn hard with her first blow and bringing him down by about 30% of his HP. He's now got Dampen on him, as well as Melkot's Mystifying Miasma. His speed is down to a mere 11, and he's miscast because we also popped the we've also popped the Trickster Shard on him as well. Massive reduction in magical damages or magical resistance as well, or spell resistance from miscast, Dampen, and Trickster Shard all combining, plus the Enfeebling Foe, meaning he has basically no melee defense, and he has nowhere to run because A, he's on foot, and B, there are Dryads everywhere. Draika brings him down, and Coadil is, well, hasn't even really closed the distance, but I think that that's appropriate. Looks like the bats aren't particularly happy about the death of the Necro animating their corpses, but it does look like they'll have just enough leadership to actually head towards us. And Draika will continue to lead her summoned malevolent Dryads against the enemy Skeletal Warriors, but since it's a summoned unit, we don't really care. Coadil and his two sort of bodyguard units that stick with him, his two malevolent treemen. Oh, I like them marching under the moon there. We'll try to protect the range Dryads, or malevolent Dryads, by hitting those bats. Not that it's looking like we need particular help against the bats. This is just the sort of first army. We do have another one to take care of. And without them both working together in concert, and the elite units mostly being from the garrison, then we should be fine at dealing with the skeletal warriors and the bats and whatnot. Now, of course, the malevolent ancient treemen will tower over anything here, as the enemy has no monsters in this particular blob, but it does have many a dire doggo, which will charge our non-malevolent dryads, who, granted, we only have two in this particular army. But at least this way we have a couple of Dryads that we can replace. Unlike the Malevolent Dryad, so if it does look like we start losing a battle, I don't think it's going to be this one, but if Draika's army starts losing a battle or starts taking heavy damage on a unit, let's say, and we can use the non-Malevolent Dryads to cover the Malevolent Dryad's retreat. And preserve the units without being able to retrofit them. Coadil, of course, continuing to look fantastic. Just a couple of episodes ago, he gave us the that fantastic shot of him and the Dryads in the woods there. And I'm still riding that high because what a glorious shot. But Coadil always looks fantastic. I absolutely love his color scheme, the sort of mix of Durthu's orange and the malevolent colors of the purple. And I know I've said that before, but I do gush about that color scheme. Anyway, out here, we have the Wraiths of the Frozen Heart together with Draika, and somewhere in here the Branch Wraiths are just smacking the enemy around as well, but it's kind of hard to spot them, especially with the effect of the Shield of Thorns coming in, as it does sort of cover our units with all those effects. But A, it was necessary, and B, we've got reinforcements coming in anyway. Looks like some bats will head towards our Dryads. With bows, we will be able to take essentially one unit down, but the other one will be able to land and, well, at least tie them up. We're at 37 melee attack and 51 weapon strength, so they actually do hit pretty hard in melee, even if their melee defense is very, very low. We will be able to up their armor fairly significantly, though. As I don't remember how much armor it was exactly, but the Branch Wraiths, I think it's either 8 armor or 12 armor, something like that, to the entirety of the Dryads, and with 4 of them available, that'll be a significant addition. Anyway, Draika is facing off against the enemy of Vargulf, which has headed forth. And we slow it down, and her handmaidens move in to surround, and, well, by the looks of it, destroy said Vargulf, which is in pretty darn bad shape and beginning to disintegrate already. A couple more hits, and the Vargulf will go down. Okay, it kept making that, like, sort of a stagger animation, which looked like it was about to die, but then it didn't. I am not at fault for not being able to get that one on cue. Anyway, we're going to reposition ourselves real nice and head towards the enemy. Looks like an enemy vampire stands... Oh my lord, okay, half a vampire now, by the looks of that HP. And yep, standing against Coadil and both of the malevolent treemen is not where you want to be. And in the same way that Draika brought down that Master Necromancer, the vampire falls pretty much just as quickly. Very nice. And our big old Sylvan Colossi, I guess, towering over those Graveguard. Of course, the Graveguard, especially with great weapons, are going to be a little bit more threatening than the Skeletal Warriors we've had to deal with in the first portion of the enemy armies, but I think we'll be just fine. Well, and interestingly enough, the Drakenhof, or not Drakenhof, Templehof army, or Templehof color scheme rather, it's not quite matching ours, but it is somewhat similar. In the same vein. Different sort of shades and stuff. But anyway, looks like we are going to obliterate this unit of Graveguard fairly quickly, as they are getting focused down by our bow-wielding Dryads out here, the Wraiths of the Frozen Heart. And ooh, we got 3 types of Dryad color schemes working together. Very nice. I also like how the Wraiths of the Frozen Heart are actually bigger as units than the regular Dryads are. Pretty neat. Anyway, down go those Graveguard, and with them, as soon as they're all gone, the battle will be ours. Always nice to see Draika's army fight, and I can't wait to see how powerful those Dryads are over time, or how much more powerful they get. There we are. Alrighty, very, very nice. Pretty darn effective, I should say. Draika and Coadil both being absolute monsters and hovering around a similar sort of damage in this particular battle. Draika obliterated that poor necromancer before he even knew what the heck was happening, and then the vampire got crushed by Codel and his two malevolent ancient treemen. And of course, Draco with her branch wraith handmaidens also ripped that Vargulf apart, which was pretty entertaining. Let's see, we got a little bit of cash, but I think we need the mana this time, so we're gonna take the mana because we aren't going to be in the forest for a little while, and we need some ways to get more of it. I forget, I did put forest spirits on every one of you, did I not? I believe I did. Oh, I didn't put one on Coadil. Ah, come on, Ruinous. Rookie mistake. Forest spirit on you, and then just to double check you... Oh. I meant to. I swear I meant to. All of you need forest spirits, which will make this army even nastier against everybody, but especially against the undead, who really need that leadership to not crumble. Anyway, Drake, you're going to take Castle Drakenhof for us. We're going to auto-resolve this. Take a little damage, don't really care about the Banner of Swiftness, and then we shall occupy it. More likely than not... I can keep the Banner of Swiftness, I don't care. More likely than not, what will happen is these guys with their 3 armies will attempt to, or not even attempt, will just take Eschen, but that's fine. We don't really care about it. And we do care about this Castle Drakenhof because it is a special location with that plus 10% faction-wide money. We really need to start racking these up simply because if we don't, as enemy factions dwindle, and they have already begun to dwindle, the number of wars begins to dwindle, and we need other forms of money making, or else all of our armies will become too expensive to field. Also, before I forget, for those of you that don't check the community tab, well, please check it, because regarding next campaigns, and I don't know, I made some announcements about the DLC and stuff like that. Yeah, I wrote a little thing there that I want to repeat here because I forgot what I wrote. Anyway, what did we build here? I think it was waystones. Oh, I don't see... Oh, we built the foraging groves here. Yeah, but the waystone has to take priority, and we will probably replace the foraging groves here because it doesn't actually provide this bonus to anything. Waystone gives us War Dancers with Azrae Spears and Sisters of the Thorn. This gives us Wild Riders. Ah, they're both fine. They're both fine. Anyway, build a gold mine for now, and then follow it up with a waystone, and we shall see. Yes. Anyway. That's Draika. Now, assuming that nobody else has to do anything, and I did already check, but I want to double check again because I'm paranoid, I think we're ready to end the turn, and then fight a forest encounter as well, and potentially Wurzag, who is very, very close. Ghosts of Pawash. We've met you now, and I actually would really love to be friends and get more lizardmen units. All the lizardmen units that are possible. Huh. Actually, if we can get the... Funnily enough, though Draika's faction generally is fighting with the Ice Court. I guess all of the Wood Elves are generally fighting with the Ice Court because Wood Elves and Kislev don't like each other. Because of that... I don't know if it would be super appropriate, but we do have the Wraiths of the Frozen Heart in Drake's army. I'm just wondering whether we could put a couple of Frostworms in her army, because I think that it might work nicely. But we could always do that in another place as well. But anyway, and Ghosts of Pawash. Oh, I was thinking we could pay them for the non-aggression pack, but it looks like we don't have enough money, so I guess we'll have to wait. All right, skip. And I don't know whether we had any... Oh. And we should build an outpost in Heshwatla. In Heshwatla itself, please. Alright, here. And ooh, they can build ancient stags with the engine of the gods. Yes. Alright, so they can build some stuff that our other lizard friends can't do yet, so that's nice. I definitely love to put them to good use, because once again, I feel like there's a nice synergy between Wood Elf and Lizardman sort of units. Both wild-type units, they're both neutral-type factions. It's all good. And, what is this? Oh, I was besieging this and then I forgot about it, didn't I? Are you sure you want to help the Mount Jade Court? Are you sure about that, Iskura? This is an infantry blunder army. Yeah, you're gonna get bum rushed by the tricksters chosen. Well, good luck with that. Go.
Nature ordains
Nature ordains it indeed, and here we go. I think the Jade Court is about to realize their mistake, though a nice fireball smashes into the Dance Macabre and manages to knock out four Blade Singers. That's pretty darn solid, isn't it? I'm kind of impressed with that. Or actually, no, not Blade Singers, dual-wielding Azure, not Azure Spears, War Dancers with dual swords. Anyway, still more casualties than this army is used to, admittedly. As for the Blade Singers, they wade right into the fray, smashing into the line of enemy units of Jade Warriors. Jade Warriors, of course, not to be underestimated. As a unit, basic though they are, like our Silverin Guard, they are very solid at holding the line. Heavily armored, etc, etc, etc. However, once again, this army is particularly adept at blending infantry armies, and if nothing else, this army is definitely too heavy on being infantry. Watch them all get ripped into bloody shreds. The enemy center line will pretty much immediately collapse, or within almost a minute. They held for a decent amount of time. While on the flanks, the enemy have Jade Lancers and Peasant Horses running around, but we are chasing them down with our Azure Spears. The Azure Spears, of course, have their Shadow's Coil ability activated and giving them another 40%, not Shadow's Coil, Woven Mist, giving them a 40% speed at the cost of that melee defense, but with 80 speed, they are able to keep the enemy horses engaged. And while they can't quite chase them down, they can certainly be close enough to them that they can't rally. Looks like most of the enemy melee units have collapsed and only the ranged units remain. And of course, one thing, or one of the many things, that the Infantry Blender Army / Hobo Army is really good at doing is making sure that any unit that routs stays routing until it shatters and until it is cut apart. After all, despite not being made up of cav, any enemy infantry pretty much is going to run slower than our war dancers are. Look at them flipping around, jumping around, just, oh, those poor peasants. This is such a terrible matchup. I feel a little bit bad for the peasants. Something you've never heard a Bretonnian say. But anyway, peasant archers cut to shreds, and pretty much the entirety of the Jade Court's army destroyed before the reinforcements from the Hunts Marshal's expedition come to help. We are going to reposition ourselves, and we have taken a little bit of damage. We can see that Ascura did a little, well, took about a third, maybe even a little bit more of her HP and damage. I did admittedly send her into combat, which you probably shouldn't do. This isn't Phaedian we're talking about, so that was my mistake. But we have taken damage, at least in HP, on a lot of the war dancers. Which is also because we are, well, we did take that fireball, we also took a few other range hits to a few of them, but most of them won't have suffered unit losses, mostly HP damage. So they should still recover to full. Who's not going to recover to full is those poor crossbows, which get hit by the Blade Storm, and hit pretty hard as these two units are essentially destroyed. We're now going to tie up the rest of the crossbow with our Eagles, not making the same mistake in allowing them to fire, while our Blade Singers and War Dancers once again smash into the line of enemy infantry. Alright, there we go. Time to slash our way through these lines of swordsmen. The Blade Singers, of course, with their area attacks, will make very quick work of them. And the same can be said of the dual-wielding Azure War Dancers as well. And, ooh, against the Halberdiers, that's an awful, awful matchup. Halberdiers, slow attacks and armor piercing against a unit that has no armor and has fast attacks and is anti-infantry. Yeah, terrible, terrible matchup. The Halberdiers are done for, and pretty much just seconds after contact with our army, this poor Hunts Marshal's army is done for as well. They arrived too late to, well, save their saviors, as obviously the Jade Court moved in to try to help out the Hunts Marshal's settlement. And they both suffered for it. Frankly, if it weren't for the lizards, kind of hating them all, we probably wouldn't have bothered attacking them here and interfering with the Lustria Bowl, but, well, more wars ain't such a bad thing, and they did occupy some territory that was heathland, so we wanted to grow those emerald pools. Anyway, chase the enemy down best you can. Hopefully we'll be able to auto-resolve this settlement without wasting the turn. Let's find out. Alright, very nice, very nice. Not a surprising outcome, I would say. This army continues to ask the age-old question of will it blend, and it is always a resounding yes. Most of the, well, some of the peasant horses survived. Unfortunately, the Azure spears aren't quite fast enough to catch light cavalry. They'd be able to run down heavy cav unlike Chaos Knights with no issue, but the peasant horses just move too fast. That's not a big deal. It's not like they're any kind of threat or anything of that nature. Anyway, besides, I really like the way that we can still use the War Dancers with Azure Spears as pseudo-cav, essentially, because at the cost of 10 of their melee defense, it brings their speed up to 80 or whatever it is, which is pretty nutty for an infantry unit. Not quite as nutty as Sigvald running, which even remembering it makes me laugh. I spent half of the Archaon campaign laughing at Sigvald running, but yeah. Anyway, we did well here. We got 291 kills, very solid on you, Blade Singers, and but these Blade Singers did just very slightly manage to out-damage you. Of course, at 402 kills and 34k damage, the low X Tricksters took the win there, and one of these dual weapon or twin blade War Dancers beat the Azure Spears, but once again the Azure Spears were running around in the background, so that's hardly surprising. Anyway, we are going to, I don't remember, I think we were going to seed this place, I think, so that's what we're going to do, because
the mighty Deepwood welcomes you beneath it.
You want us to join war against Mengel's Manflayers. I don't remember where they are, so I'm gonna say no. We probably will once we actually figure out where their army is. Lokir Felhart wants peace. Yeah, no, buddy, no. Rakarth wants peace? No. All the peace requests are coming again. Khalida, I gotta be honest, I didn't even remember being at war with you. I don't even know who you are. No. I'm kidding, Khalida. You're one of my favorite lords in the game, but anyway. Silastra, no, and in fact, you're just reminding me that we have to deal with you before you knock Nagaroth out. Unfortunately, the High Elves aren't providing us with much of any units, really. At least so far. They haven't teched to dragons, they haven't teched to sky cutters, they haven't really teched to anything interesting yet. So we'll have to wait. No peace. Only war. Elspeth, I was about to say, wait, Elspeth wants peace, but no, she just wants us to join war against the Cult of Tzeentch. Belagar wants us to, or the Deceivers, whatever. Nah. Alright, and the Ogres are still alive, aren't they? There's like one of those little armies running around. We gotta hunt them down. Why do you want peace? Huh. You're not even at war with anybody else. How are you even losing? Okay, I definitely don't know who you are, because you're so far away from anything we've got. I don't know how you manage that.
Your words and heart are hollow.
Flame Gullets, no.
Your words and heart are hollow.
Deadwood Sentinels, no. Huh. No. I'm just taking a look, if you're wondering why I'm hesitating, at if they're at war with any other factions, because if they are, and when they are, and that's a good time to peace out with them, and but declare war on somebody else, like we've done in the past before. No.
Your words and heart are...
Alright, AI, relax, that's enough of that. Now, I noticed that Wurzag decided not to attack us, the little coward. Ally begins outpost construction, another Dryad spy, nice for our tech thieves. I don't remember whether we had enough, but I should check. Skura has that seasoned campaigner, which is always a lovely trait. Constructor, creator, enemy killed in battle, unicorn for Skura. We need her on an eagle, but anyway. Ally begins outpost, forest invasion, that's these ones. Yeah, oh, okay, no, that's just a, this is just a battle marker, right? Yeah, okay, because I thought it was like, wait, was there another one? But anyway, Ritual of Rebirth available, Oak of Ages. Now, we don't need to do this as yet. I think that when we pop this, it'll give us the final battle, so I guess we want to hold off on doing it until the, until we're ready for that. And damn, this thing just keeps increasing, but okay. Yeah, but so does our money making, so that's just fine, even with the numbers of enemies that we're currently in a fight against somewhat dwindling. Oh, and you see Tretch is doing decently well out here, Greasy, and this guy as well. I should probably declare war on Greasus and everybody here before they wipe out, these guys. I mean, we don't really care as much because we're just doing all of our rituals. Frankly, if all of our rituals are popped, our units will be so strong that we will probably never need to do anything. But anyway, Dreadrock. I take it we'll want to sack it and then occupy it. Public order is probably going to be iffy, but whatever. Durthu go into Forest Coast stance, I guess. Actually, you know what? Just go into regular stance. Pyrrhic victory. But no one will die. I mean, we got some units there. Is it worth the fight, though? I mean, we fought similar kind of army. We fought a similar kind of army, except headed by Kugath with more troops and still won. I feel like it's not necessary. Just how to resolve it. We already know Durthu can take care of that sort of thing. And a raise at 14.6k. Alright, I'm gonna hope that recolonizing is gonna be less. Durthu raise and then stop him and stop it. Alright. Oh, I wish they wouldn't take that extra step. Recolonizing it doesn't take... I mean, we get 3,000 gold out of it. Something, I guess. I really strongly feel that they need to fix that. Like, why would a Wood Elf outpost cost such insane amounts of money? No other faction outpost cost anything anywhere near that kind. And the Skaven get to colonize outposts for free. Khorne doesn't... I mean, Khorne... Just remove colonization costs from Wood Elves. It's just outposts. It's not like we're looking to hold on to them anyway, and it's not like we have a great capability of doing so. But anyway, I digress. Let's do some stuff. Ellen Delling. You go here, you'll have a little bit of movement left. We should hit this imminent invasion. We can reach it just barely with overzealous attack, but does give us extra reload skill. At the cost of a little bit of vigor. Yeah, it's fine. I don't know whether you can actually help. I don't think you can, but if the army is too strong and we're forced to move away, then you will be able to help, so we should still move you nearby. Go. I believe this should mean that it's an ambush, but I could be wrong. And indeed it is. It's probably just a chance for an ambush. No, they can help if they're nearby. Well, that's unfortunate for you. Though these guys will probably be too late to get in on the action. And we are definitely out of time. But I promised this fight, so we will do the fight anyway. Go. Alright, hunt them indeed, though I suppose we've already ambushed them, and, well, it's a Norscan army. It's not in a particularly good position to give chase to us, especially not with this particular combination / army composition. Feral Manticore was a threat and might have actually closed the distance, but of course we popped the prey of Anathrema and hunted it down. And next on the chopping block will have to be the Marauder Horsemen, who can fire back, as well as all those Skin Wolves. Can't be having their anti-large come into effect and chase our units down. That said, most of the infantry is just bypassing us, ignoring us completely, and we're going to try to delay them, and the Lord as well, as much as we possibly can. We've got a unit of summoned eagles trying to get into the way of the enemy chariots and whatever enemy infantry we can engage. The enemy really doesn't want to fight, or at the very least their infantry really doesn't want to fight. But we got more eagles coming in from our Beast Lore Summoner, and hopefully that'll keep a few more enemy units distracted. And the main enemies that we did focus down, the Skin Wolves, the Fimir, the Marauder Horses, have all been pretty much destroyed and are still taking fire, and will continue to do so until they've shattered, at which point our Sisters of the Thorn and our Glade Riders can switch their fire to whatever else. There are still 3 mammoths on the field as well, and if nothing else, even if a lot of the infantry do manage to escape this ambush, we have to try to make sure that we bring the mammoths down. The good thing about the feral mammoths, at least, is that they will go into rampage if we continue firing at them, which will force them into the fight rather than attempting to escape the battle and escape the ambush. Looks like the enemy lord is down to about half of his HP. We're trying to focus him down on, ooh, look at that, about a quarter of his HP drops with every single volley from all 4 units of our Hawk Riders. They snipe and then they kill him. Very nice. Feral Mammoth's still out here, going to target those Marauder Chariots next because they have an easy way off field as they're already close to the edge of the screen and they are trying to make their way away. All the infantry, however, will continue to take shots to their backs as they run and we try to hunt them down. Poor Norskins. Of course, this makes the battle relatively easy for us, as it is an ambush, but not to worry, we won't be able to hit all three of the forest encounters with ambushes. In fact, I don't believe it's possible unless you have multiple armies, as we wouldn't be able to move fast enough to get to all 3 positions. So, we'll most likely be able to ambush 1, depending on if the ambush actually succeeds, possibly 2, but definitely not 3. And of course, once all 3 are done, this ritual will be complete. And the first one done it is, as the Marauders will break and the battle will be ours. Very nice. Now, just a matter of attempting to kill off as many of these Marauders before they can escape as well, so that we can auto-resolve the remnants of this army. Not that there's all that many here. We do have our reinforcements now moving in. The Glade Riders, the melee Glade Riders. They'll probably take at least a few shots from our own units. But anyway, the rest of the chase off screen. Very nice. Alright, there we go. Battle itself easy enough, though once again I do have to say that I find the ambush behavior that was added to the AI making them just sort of not even try, just to try to run away, a little bit bizarre. I don't know why they decided to do that. I'd rather them fight, even if it is not a particularly hopeful battle. Though, I mean, they had 4 units of Skinwolf, or 2 units of Skinwolves, some Female Warriors, a bunch of Mammoths and stuff. If they got into melee combat with some of our units, or if they were at least capable of doing so, they could have done a decent bit of damage. Alas, not so much this time around. But anyway, Hunting Hound, Assured Assailant, Audacious Ellendelling, Hunting Hound again, and I would like you, Deluric, to chase down Kerrig the Lustful here. Kerrig. And really? Really, game? Really? Alright, I'm gonna call the episode here. I'm just gonna manually fight this between the episodes because this is stupid. Calling it here. We will finish up the ritual at Lorelor next time, and then send Ellendelling back to raising Norska so that we don't have to deal with more of them, and then we'll try to figure out who to send to Orion's camp, and then who to send to Gaian Vale, wherein we will be popping our next ritual, I believe, next turn. More rituals to come. Stay tuned for more as we head towards the end of this campaign. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.